In today's competitive trading world, the data that you use to make decisions is going to be the fundamental thing that guarantees your success or your loss. Having adequate information at the right time is everything. And in today's session, we're going to be going over our data that we had in the morning and how we use that to convey our trades and so forth. Sometimes me as a personal trader, I do have my own biases, but relying on my data is what makes me ensure that I remain in check and take the right trades when necessary. Because sometimes when you're looking at a particular trade, and you're looking at one particular indicator, you may see that that indicator that you rely on, such as a moving average, may be the area where you want to buy calls or puts. But if you have the right information and you rely on your game plan, that's going to be the key thing that will shape you and can either make you or break you. So let's go straight into it, and I'll discuss in detail what I'm talking about. I will also share a prediction on where I see where the market's going and give you a little bit about some trade ideas that we're looking into for tomorrow's trading session. So it's officially October the 7th here. So in today's trading session, we started off with the key implementation that the market is basically, it opened a lot lower here. There's jitters going on about further Middle East conflicts. It's very hard for SPX to go higher. You're seeing oil rise, you're seeing yields rise as well. In this week, we have a lot of key events happening, including multiple AI events from NVIDIA, AMD, and Tesla. And we also have the CPI report along with the FOMC interest rate announcement. So it does look like this is going to be a very key week as well. That's going to be shaping the future dynamic of the market. Usually what we do is that we always prepare in advance by making sure we have all our levels and information ready before we get in. Right off the bat here, we acknowledge that in order for SPX to be bullish, it had to be above the 57.35, 57.40 range in order for that to be confirmed. And as long as it remains under 57.50, 57.60, it's going to be in the negative gamma zone. So in order for SPX to really start moving, it had to pretty much see strength from the lows, because SPX did open down around 30 points. So that was the key fundamental of our data point as well. And even though we gave the edge towards the upside this morning here, the data is that the market is bullish as long as we see 57.40, and market is bearish if we see 57.10. Our inflection points were pretty much very far apart, where our first upside inflection point was 57.60 and our bottom was 56.93, which is a gatekeeping level. As you guys can see over here, this information was given on our pre-market zone that we labeled that the bullish gamma territory is at 57.40, 57.20 is where the bearish gamma territory is that you see right over here. So as of today here, this is how the market moved. It was sideways, choppy all day, and we didn't take on any SPX plays whatsoever. But we did talk about multiple different trades. We mentioned that China had a stimulus meeting today. We're going to hear more about that after close. NVIDIA had an AI event that's happening, summit that's happening for the next 3 days. So that was one play that we're looking at. We mentioned that NVIDIA needs to get through 126 to start running. Under 122 is bad. So we were looking at some calls right off the bat here, but NVIDIA managed to really rock. And you can pretty much see that once it got through 126, it really started to run as per our prediction over here. Now, these predictions that you see on NVIDIA right here are given to our members before the start of the week here. This is how we rely on our success. So the members in the room already knew about the summit and the full picture about what's happening here. We believe that they estimated weekly high on NVIDIA is at 134. So once it got through that 126 out of the chop range, it started to really run. It got through the breakout range temporarily, but stopped at around 130. So we were looking at this play here as a potential trade that we were going in. But starting into this week, we actually had AMD calls that we had from last week as a roll-up. Those were a significant play that I had 50% on Friday. We came into the trading day with the MSTR calls as well, the 180 calls that we had taken, and those plays actually did very well. So we started off with a huge banger around, the MSTR went as far as a 100 and 120%, and we did also mention that those MSTR may go to $10. So that's where we were eyeing, but I decided to sell a little bit early to make sure I didn't let a winning trade go to zero. So MSTR, very nice call out here, and our analysis suggests that the top on this stock is probably around 195. We got it around 185-ish, but it managed to rip towards 190 here. So interesting to see that. And we decided to take profits. Why not start your week off very strong here, okay? So the next play that we decide to do, and this is purely based off the data here, is Meta 580 puts, okay? Why did we take Meta 580 puts at 952 when the market was pretty much basing that you see over here, okay? So, our data suggests 5740, 5720 is pretty much what they're doing. I mentioned in the Twitter feed here right at the open that the market looks like they're selling calls, they're selling premiums, and that's pretty much what the key thing that suggested that the market was chilling. We also mentioned that if SPX breaks under 5720, we may see 5693, and this was time stamped off the open, okay, purely based off the data that you hear, 954, okay. So that's what we talked about here. So we seen an opportunity towards the downside. We got those Meta puts, and the reason why we picked Meta was very straightforward here, okay, is because Meta hit our level 1 bullish inflection point at 602. We noticed that the premiums looked very weak. So once again, this is time stamped. You can see right over here. If you go into our analysis, beginning of the week, you can see that. Let's go to Meta. Okay, Meta right over here. Yesterday at 633, we have a high there. First inflection point 602, and there's no edits there. Okay, so it hit 602. This is our gatekeeping level, and we saw a massive pullback here. We got around at around 595, and we sold it for a nice 30% profit, but it did go a lot higher. Okay, so this was a nice play here, and you can see that it closed around our level 1 bearish inflection point. So the numbers were point on, and this is why we've taken that trade. It was a long wait, and it was kind of aggravating just waiting for that premium to move, but definitely it was very interesting. We decided to take coin 1.5 because we pre-announced that play. So we said waiting for coin at around 11 o'clock, and definitely it did get there later on during the day. So that was a nice trade that we got. So if we go back to this coin play, so we called it on voice as well. We also called out NVIDIA 134 call at 11:54. This filled at the end of the day, and we got a nice play off that. So as you guys can see here, what we did that we were looking at. So the personal bias that I had here is I wanted to buy calls around this zone at this support right over here. And when I was looking at this at first, I was planning to buy a call, but when I got in, I decided to sell it immediately and take that hit. Okay, so this is where relying on the data is going to be fundamental here. So I was looking at the support level over here, and I decided, hey, you know what? There was a mini bounce here, and the bounce wasn't strong enough. So we decided to take that loss, and sold for 30% loss. But we quickly transitioned and waited for our 56.90 put, which was at $4. And once it went to hit that $4 or $5, it managed to hit 1.8. We got the fill. Members got the fill, and they made their money right off the bat here. Okay, we sold it for around 320%, which was a nice win right off the bat, and all the members made money off that play here. So that was a key thing. Why was that very helpful? Because we knew that 5720 was the bearish gamma zone, and we knew that going into this over here, this is a bearish breakdown that we planned from the beginning of the week on Sunday, and we were looking at this. So very interesting to see that as well. Okay, besides all that, other plays that kind of rejected our level 1 bullish area was ARM here. We didn't take this because this is our chop range, so we didn't want to play that rejection whatsoever. But Nvidia, we do like this. We definitely got the 134 calls at around 60 cents, so we waited for the dip and we got into that. We're very bullish on China as we're holding the PDD calls, and we're looking at Baba as well, and Baidu as well. These were very hard to get filled, so we didn't jump into that. But instead, we got FXI, which was on our hot list. And the hot list that we have was giving us great information to tell us that this China ETF was likely to be moving forward here, okay? I also mentioned that one of my predictions here is that I did want to get SPX calls, but I believe that the market is likely to open in the red tomorrow because they jacked the weekly premiums. I don't know exactly how red it will be, but you know, based on what I've seen on the premiums, I didn't want to force trade. My estimated weekly low on SPX is around 56.40, so we were looking at that. They were going for around $4 or $5. We decided, okay, you know, let's wait on it. But even though SPX can go lower, the cryptos and the China stocks are what's going to be moving the market right now, and that's where the trend is. We also believe that AMD can definitely still have a move. It closed very strong here, and the first inflection point we see on AMD is 175. So if it hits 175, that will be a nice target to get out if you guys want to. But you know, that's a huge opportunity as well. The the Mag 7 stocks, they are looking somewhat bearish today, so we're just watching that as well. Coin was very cheap when we got in. It was like pretty much holding here, so there was no analysis done on that, but we're just watching that for now. So that's all I got for you guys right now. Hope you guys enjoyed this market recap here. We'll get back to you on a daily basis after the market, give you an update about what's happening. So stay tuned for more. Join our mentorship to get transparent alerts. We always give our call outs before it happened, because in our pre-market notes, as you guys can see, we have a lot of plays that we tend to watch carefully. I give the whole list on the alerts and the price that I want them, so no one really misses out on these plays, because if you get it ahead of time, it's impossible for you to really miss out. And once you get the fill, we let you know about that. So that's how we do it, guys. Announcing our trades before it happens. These are, you know, could be swings, scalps, whatever it is. You know, we're always going to find it, because we already banked, you know, 300 to 400% by calling out SPX way in advance. We do have a voice chat room here where we have this transcript that gives all my voice commentary about everything I'm saying here. So there's never a situation where, you know, there's a lack of transparency. Hey, how did you get in this play when it wasn't called out, etc. Everything is time stamped, that we made it so that way our traders can see the success of having the right data in the room, and our traders can always see that, you know, once it's posted and it's declared. You know, I always make sure that there's no edit detail on there whatsoever. On the voice transcript, however, that's usually the case because it's a bot that edits it. But overall, everything else is time stamped, and once the numbers are there, it's there. We declare and we move forward, right? So we always acknowledge if the data is bad, and if the data is good, we also highlight it, okay? But most of the time, as you guys can see, the data has been very successful. So that's why it's important that if you are considering a mentorship program, look at someone that shows the before and the after, and that's going to be crucial, because those traders that just say, hey, I call this out, call that out, but doesn't show the work behind it, or doesn't show the details, is meaningless, right? Sometimes people call out random trades and they don't even show the lead up to it, and that's kind of a shitty thing to do, right? It's, you know, there's a lot of lack of transparency out there, so it's better to find someone that can give you those pre-announced call outs, give you the information you need right before it happens, and that way you guys can bank in the room. So check out our mentorship program to get access to this information, and we also provide one-on-one coaching to make sure that you are reaching the levels of success that you deserve. So see you guys in the next one, and like always, let's get that money.